Let me start with a question I ask often, and it's very effective. And here's the question. The question is very simple. I ask, do you want to hear what's easy or do you want to hear the truth? I know what I want to hear, and sometimes it's not what's easy. The truth is, I often want to hear what's true because I'm curious. I want to know what it is that's actually more true than not. Almost every single time I ask that question, the answer is the same from those I'm asking. It's the truth. But here's what I've learned, and I've learned a handful of things from this question, is that we often say we want to hear the truth until truth asks something of us. You guys, welcome to the Kingdom Family Movement Podcast. I'm your host, Sam Velasquez. And listen, we often choose comfort. We often want what's easy. Nobody wants to go through hard stuff. But man, can I just encourage us today? I want you to really think about why it is we desire and should crave the truth over what's easy. Hey, if you're tuning in for the first time, finding this podcast, you guys, welcome. I appreciate it. As always, hey, like, subscribe, leave a review, and let me know how we can help grow this podcast and reach more families. Again, because that's the mission here at the Kingdom Family Movement. It's simple. It's to help restore God's design for marriages, for families, and the home. Very simple. But, in order to do that, we have to face some tough stuff sometimes. And it's why I ask that question, right? Do you want to hear what's easy or do you want to hear the truth? Because truth doesn't come to comfort us necessarily. Truth often comes to convict us. And conviction, listen, when conviction is understood correctly, then it changes things because it's not condemnation. Conviction is clarity. And ultimately, conviction of truth leads to freedom in every area of our life. I don't know about you, but I want freedom. I want freedom in my faith, my marriage, my family, my home, all of it. Who wouldn't want freedom? Nobody wants to be bound up. You see, what's easy sounds like this. Just get through the day. Just don't worry about it. It's okay. Who cares? It's not your responsibility. Oh, don't do that. You don't want to rock the boat. Life is hard right now. This isn't really my responsibility. You see, easy offers us kind of a temporary relief. It's not necessarily the truth, though. And easy slowly will just erode ownership. I have 4 kids. If there's one thing I really want to teach them, it's to take ownership. But in order to take ownership, we have to accept or hear or receive truth. And if we don't, it just slowly leads to passivity, I think. It gives them an opportunity to just jump away from taking responsibility to do what it is they're supposed to do or own the thing they're supposed to do or own maybe the mistake they made. See, easy keeps things comfortable because easy often makes an excuse while quietly keeping us stuck. I don't want to be stuck. I don't want my kids to be stuck. I don't want them to be stuck in a pattern or a habit, a mindset that tells them they can just pass the buck and not take ownership. You see, truth, however, sounds very different. Truth says things like, listen, you still have a choice. See, when I'm caught in the middle of, do I want to hear what's easy or do I want to hear the truth? I have a choice. I can choose to hear truth. I I can have and take responsibility, right? I don't have to say, oh, well, I'm powerless. I don't have the ability to do that. See, truth doesn't make excuses. Truth equips us. And in order to bring about restoration in any area of our lives, but especially when it comes to our marriages, our families, our homes, we need to not make excuses and we need to start hearing truth because it equips us. It gives us the tools to make not only the right decision, but to make not necessarily what is the easy decision because then it wouldn't be easy. See, and that difference, it matters so deeply because when it comes to our faith, when it comes to marriages, families, and homes, without conviction, we may often choose the easier route instead of doing what we know is true. But let's talk about conviction for a second, because I think often we hear that word and we think too much, or maybe in the past we've heard it in a way where it does feel condemning. It does feel like like judgment, or um, what's the word I'm looking for? But it's just condemning, but that's not true. See, conviction ultimately, and I love this definition from Webster's 1828. Fiction is simply this: it is the act of compelling one to admit the truth. That's it. I can tell you, if you were a parent, you're going to get this, and if you're not, you're still going to get it. I think it's principle, but especially with our kids when we're parenting, there are times when I want them to just admit truth. I'm not. I'll tell them. I'll tell them this. Listen, I know you made a mistake, and I understand, and it's. I'm not saying it is okay, but what's more important to me is that you know it's okay to speak and tell the truth. Take ownership. But the easy route, normally induced by a lie, that it's easier to just lie, because then that's what leads to the shame and the condemnation and the guilt. Truth does not do that, right? The act of compelling one to admit truth, that is nothing like shame. That is alignment, is what it is, right? Shame tells us to hide, shame tells us to lie. Conviction invites us to return to the place in which God's called us, right? Which is truth. Conviction doesn't say you're finished. Conviction says, hey, come back into order, come back into alignment with who God calls us to be, who and how God sees us. Because truth never condemns, it never shames or guilts us. That's the lie, that's the enemy. You see, here's the uncomfortable part. When we avoid truth, we don't eliminate pain. We actually create space for the guilt, for the shame, for the lies. So lying, even though it seems easy, right? Because that's the easy route. That's where we can insert the question, do you want to hear what's easy, or do you want to hear the truth? Because when I want to hear what's easy, easy tells me lie, hide, don't admit, don't take ownership, don't admit truth, right? We always say, hey, admit fault. No, no, no. Admit truth. Whether it's fault or not, it's not relevant. Truth, however, is what's relevant. You see, when we do that, when we create space or we avoid truth and we don't eliminate the pain, but we think we are, and we're really creating space for guilt and shame, see, then our marriages drift, our homes and our families drift. Not because of one big failure, not because of many small avoided truths, or sorry, but because of many small avoided truths, right? Not because of one big failure, but because of many small avoided truths. Okay. Homes lose spiritual authority. When comfort replaces obedience, families fracture. And listen, I can speak to that. There are many times in my life where I have avoided spiritual authority. I've taken the easy route to hide, or to make an excuse, or to do what's easy, and then faced that, had to overcome the lies and the shame and the guilt. And when we do that, it fractures the home, it fractures our marriages, our families. But when we can begin to become honest, okay, instead of avoiding truth and then not protecting the home, then we can strengthen it instead of weaken it. So remember, honesty postponed just weakens the foundation. I like what the Bible says. Jesus said it so plainly. It says, you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. That's John 8:32. God gave us his son, yes, to die on the cross and to pay for all of our sin, all of the shame, the guilt. And I am so thankful for that. But he also invites me into relationship. He also gives us the most incredible gift, the Holy Spirit, right? The spirit of truth. And that's why he's saying, you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. You see, not what's easy, not what's comfortable, but truth, because truth doesn't wound us, it releases us, it frees us from any bondage that we may be in or put ourselves in. So let me ask you this. Where have you been choosing what's easy, maybe, over what's honest? And I understand that's a tough question. I have to ask myself that question. What have I been choosing that's easy over what's honest? And I can think of things for sure that aren't necessarily, and I don't want us to only think of this question in the context of you're choosing something that's easy because you're hiding or lying. No, you're choosing something that's easy and it's just not going to help you get to where you want to go in the future. And there's a still small voice inside of you saying, yeah, but you should probably do this. Not in a condemning, guilting way, but in a convicting, I know this is the right thing. I know when I make this decision, it's going to produce these results, right? So ask yourself, what are you choosing that's maybe easy over what is honest, right? What conversation maybe are you delaying? What patterns are you continuing to justify? What responsibility are you continuing to shift to the side? See, truth restores responsibility, and responsibility restores our authority in our marriages, in our families, in our homes. And ultimately, authority restores peace, a peace that we should desire and want inside the four walls of our home, peace that we should want in every aspect of our life. It's the peace that passes all understanding. It's the peace that the world cannot give you, but we have to choose truth. Here's a little invitation for you. Okay. Choose what convicts you, not what comforts you. Not because truth hurts, which is the old age lie, right? We say so often, oh, the truth hurts. We almost say it subconsciously. I've done it, right? Oh my God, well, the truth hurts, doesn't it? No, the truth never hurts. Okay. The truth convicts because not only does it convict, but it leads to ultimately what we most desire. And it's like taking that deep inhale, exhale, and it leads us to freedom. Freedom from bitterness, freedom from resentment, from guilt, shame, right? It gives us space to actually feel free to lead in our homes, to lead in our marriages, to lead in our families, not just for leading's sake, but with actual clarity, with just a sense of like not feeling hindered or a barrier that's keeping you from moving forward. So remember, this is how we restore God's design for our marriages, for our families, for our homes. Not through ease, not through comfort, but through alignment, right? Alignment with the truth, alignment with the truth. Because, like I always say, revival doesn't begin when life gets easier. It begins when we choose truth inside of our personal lives, inside of our homes. And that's where the kingdom family movement lives, is in that space. Listen, I am with you in this. We are choosing truth together. We are choosing alignment together, and we're restoring God's design for the marriage, for the family, and for our homes. Hey, you guys, listen, principally speaking, I really want you to ask yourself that question. Do you want to hear what's easy, or do you want to hear the truth? And if you want to hear the truth, just remember it leads to alignment, getting back into the God's divine order for our lives, and ultimately it sets us free. You guys, as always, if you want to connect beyond this podcast, hey, check out the show note links below. Everything's down there. All of the links to previous podcasts, but more importantly, to our weekly email. We send out our weekly reset email to the Kingdom Family Movement. If you haven't, hey, subscribe to it. It is free every Monday to your inbox. And if you really are saying, you know what, I'm ready to make the jump, I'm ready to make the leap. Listen, we do a very high touch coaching program for individuals and couples who are ready to say, I want to take our family, I want to take our marriage to the next level. If that is you, hey, click the link below for a free 30-minute coaching call. I would love to see where you're at and see if what we can do can help you get from where you are to the preferred destination you want to be in your marriage, your family, and your home. You guys, Coach Sam Velasquez here with the Kingdom Family Movement podcast, and we will see you on the other side. Peace.